My name is Grant Taylor, and my audience members are a little slim at this moment during the quarantine. Also, during the quarantine, I've been stuck at home, haven't been working, and been listening to music more and more, which got me thinking about a good topic to explain would be a genre that is heavy on my playlist. Specifically, the artist is Ozzy Osbourne. I know he's not the most well liked in society. He has not made a great name for himself between the lifestyle habits and things like that, but he has been a big influence in the genre that I pick and has been pretty prominent in the music that I listen to, which is a harder rock or, as some call, metal. He hasn't really led the best lifestyle in the public eye. He is everybody knows him as the man who bit the head off the bat. The has just been addicted to drugs, the whole 9 yards. But there is one thing that has been a pretty solid staple, and that has been his music that he's put out. And when reading, one of the things is his autobiography. This is I Am Ozzy, written in 2009, that I got to help with everything. And just a little quote that he put on the back, which kind of leads back to his lifestyle. My father always said I would do something big one day. I've got a feeling about you, John Michael Osborne, he'd tell me, after he'd had a few beers. You're either going to do something very special or you're going to go to prison. And he was right. My old man, I was in prison by my 18th birthday. So that kind of leads back to the rough lifestyle and the partying he's done. But as far as music's concerned, Ozzy really got his start in the 60s in a band called Black Sabbath. They're more of a pioneer for rock and roll in the metal scene. They were very prominent, they were very successful, and in the autobiography, it's ironic that this time period is mainly what he focuses on. He doesn't, even though his solo career was a lot more successful, he doesn't focus on it as much as he does his original time period. I don't know if that's just the only thing that I can think of is it's a much more happier time for him. But as a band, he did kind of get kicked out in the late 70s. They left and went with a different singer. Well, this didn't keep him down. Ozzy Osbourne started his solo career. Probably thankfully to his future wife would be Sharon Osbourne, kept him going. It was spoken well by A&E Television Network's report on April 2nd of 2014. Unlike some artists who fade into the obscurity after leaving the groups that made them famous, Osbourne in 1980 delivered a solo album, Blizzard of Oz, that was a resounding commercial success, which really leads to his solo career, which is more what I listen to. It was a little different of a sound. It was more of a hard, it was more metal. It was very distinctive, and it really built what people know him as, his music genre, that is. Ozzy, as he made records, never really stuck to one guitarist. He had a guitarist die. It was a big impact on his life, and that was another thing he touched on a lot in his book, is Randy Rhoads. That was his original guitarist. It was a very good friend of his, but he passed away in the beginning of his career. After that, he kind of floated around between guitarists until he found one that stuck with him until 2008, which is Zakk Wylde. But during his career, it really helped boost his profits as well. According to Ruth Blott from Forbes, on an article written June 26 of 2013, his solo career has increased his album sales to over 100 million worldwide, which is really considered a superstardom at that point. He led into a string of albums that were very successful, and one that stands out to me and has been very influential in his commercial success is actually one of his most successful albums to date, which is No More Tears. It was released in 1991. It consisted of the long-term guitarist he chose, Zakk Wylde, again. This was spoken by John Wiederhorn of Loudwire on September 17th of 2017 that this album was one of the only records Mr. Osborne did, performed, and wrote while he was sober, which I believe had a huge impact on the success of the actual album. It allowed for a clear mind, a clear conscience, and everything else to be able to write the album, which led to, like I said, one of the most successful albums in his actual career. The albums that followed, he went back to his original ways, and albums were repetitive. They were basically making, in my opinion, making an album to make an album. He then went on to his television show during this time period, where I feel like he was heavily back on drugs, which he does state back in the book, which on record about the addiction was the only other time that he was sober, which is ironic because it is a very well written book, which I think he gets a bad rep for. But he also does it to himself. So, as in general, Ozzy Osbourne has been a huge influence in the metal community. He's actually considered the god of metal, and I feel like his distinctive sound, his what he brings to the table, has been very influential in not just my pick of music, but the rock and roll genre in general. He's brought a lot to the table, and he continues to bring forth a lot of material, and I hope it never really ends. Thank you.